All right, let's talk about a supplement that you've probably seen everywhere, apple pectin. It gets talked up as this miracle fix for everything from your gut to full-on detoxes. But what's the real story? What does the science say? Let's get into it. So if you've ever had a really good jar of jam, you've already met pectin. It's that natural magic that takes fruit and sugar and turns it into that perfect, thick, spreadable jam. Seriously, without it, you just have a jar of sugary fruit soup. But here's the thing. Apple pectin's reputation has gone way beyond the breakfast table. It's a huge deal in the health supplement world now. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get to the facts. What does the evidence actually show? And where does the real science stop and the clever marketing start? So before we get into all the health claims, let's just start with the basics. What exactly is apple pectin? And where in the world does it come from? Okay, so the most important thing to know is that apple pectin is a type of soluble fiber, and you're not going to find it in the sweet, juicy part of the apple. Nope, it's extracted from the pomace. That's all the leftover pulp, skin, and seeds after you make apple juice. You can think of it as the natural glue that holds the apple's cell walls together. And turning that leftover apple gunk into the fine powder you see in a supplement bottle, well, that's quite a journey. First, they wash and dry all that pomace. Then they use hot water to pull the pectin out. That gets filtered and concentrated. Then a little alcohol makes the pectin solidify. And finally, they dry it and grind it all up. All right, now we know what it is. Let's get to the question you're all here for. What are the proven health benefits? We're going to start where the scientific evidence is the absolute strongest. This is a big one. One of the most solid, well-researched benefits of apple pectin is its effect on cholesterol. A huge analysis of 67 different studies found it can lower that bad LDL cholesterol by a pretty impressive 5 to 16%. How? Well, it basically works by grabbing onto bile acids in your gut, which your body makes from cholesterol, and then helps escort them right out of your body. Next up, let's talk about your gut, because this is where apple pectin is a real superstar. It's a prebiotic. That means it isn't food for you, it's food for the good bacteria living in your digestive system. And as those good guys chow down on the pectin, they produce these amazing things called short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate. Butyrate is a crucial energy source for your colon cells and helps keep your whole gut lining healthy and strong. And check this out. Pectin has this amazing, almost contradictory ability to regulate your digestion. It can help with two totally opposite problems. Because it forms a gel, for diarrhea, it can add bulk and slow things down. But for constipation, that same gel-forming property adds moisture and bulk to get things moving. Pretty cool, right? Now, apple pectin's talents aren't just limited to health supplements. It's a surprisingly versatile ingredient that shows up in some really unexpected places. So besides making your jam thick, pectin is a secret weapon in the pharmaceutical industry. They use its gelling abilities to create coatings for pills so that medication is released slowly over time. And in healthcare, it's actually a really important tool used to thicken liquids for patients who have trouble swallowing, a condition called dysphagia. Okay, let's get into one of the most talked about claims, detox. Some studies have shown some, honestly, mind-blowing results. In one trial, people who took a modified form of pectin saw the amount of lead they excreted in their urine shoot up by more than 500%, with huge increases for other heavy metals too. But, and this is a really, really important but, we have to slow down here. The pectin used in these studies was not your standard apple pectin. It was modified citrus pectin, or MCP. Modified just means the long pectin fibers are chopped up into smaller pieces so your body can absorb them more easily. On top of that, these studies were tiny. Some had fewer than 10 people. So the results are definitely interesting, but we need so much more research before we can say anything for sure. And speaking of claims that need a lot more research, that brings us to the most sensational one out there, the one that has just exploded all over social media. Can apple pectin actually kill parasites? When you actually go and look at the scientific studies, the conclusion is, well, it's pretty blunt. There is currently no direct evidence from any clinical trial that supports the claim that apple pectin can kill, expel, or treat intestinal parasites. Period. Okay, so if the science isn't there, then why is apple pectin a key ingredient in so many of these parasite cleanse products? Let's dig into what's really going on here. This is where the marketing gets really clever. The claim is that pectin kills parasites, but the reality is that it's usually mixed in with other herbs like wormwood or black walnut that do have known antiparasitic properties. Pectin's job isn't to treat the infection. It's there to be a binder and a digestive helper, which might help clear things out after something else has done the heavy lifting.
So let's be really clear about pectin's actual role here. As a binder, that gel it forms can help trap toxins in the gut. As a digestive aid, it keeps you regular, which can help get rid of parasites that have already been killed by medicine. And as a prebiotic, it feeds your good gut bacteria, which is your body's first line of defense against any infection. See, these are all supportive roles, not a direct attack.
And just to show you how complicated this all is, get this. One animal study found that a high dose of a certain soluble fiber actually helped whipworm parasites survive longer. It's a really powerful reminder that we're dealing with a complex ecosystem in our gut, not something you can just fix with a simple cleanse. So, after we've sifted through all the science and all the hype, what's the final word on apple pectin? Here is what you really need to remember.
To sum it all up, apple pectin's real strengths are very well established. It's a proven helper for managing cholesterol, it's a fantastic prebiotic for a healthy gut, it's an effective digestive regulator, and it's a super important ingredient in food and medicine. This is where the science is totally clear and compelling.
So, the bottom line is this. Apple pectin is a really valuable supplement with solid science behind it for your heart and gut health. However, it is not a medicine for parasite infections. If you think you might have a parasite, it is absolutely crucial that you go see a healthcare professional to get a real diagnosis and proper medical treatment. You know, the story of apple pectin is such a perfect case study. We have this genuinely useful, beneficial substance that's been sort of hijacked by some really wild, unproven hype. And it brings up a huge question for all of us. In a world of endless wellness trends, how can we get better at separating the real remedies from the really clever marketing? Thanks for tuning in.